Hi everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we will be doing Mahamri. So I hope you enjoy watching this video. I will begin by showing you the ingredients that I'm going to be using in this particular recipe, and we will begin with this one. This is approximately 1.5 cups of coconut milk. You can use the one from supermarket or you can make your own fresh. And then we have approximately a cup of sugar. We will use 1 tablespoon of yeast. These are 4 cups of wheat flour. Don't use the self-raising one. For Mahamri, we are going to be using the all-purpose wheat flour because we will be using yeast. And then this is approximately 1 tablespoon of cardamoms. These are 2 tablespoons of milk powder. And finally, we will use some vegetable oil. Mix the powdered milk with the wheat flour and make sure that they combine evenly. In a separate bowl, add half of the coconut milk. Make sure that it is warm and not hot. The second ingredient that comes into this bowl is the cardamoms, which are commonly known as iliki in Swahili. And then the third ingredient that comes in is yeast, commonly known as amira in Swahili. So we will add a tablespoon of yeast into this mixture. And then after we've added our tablespoon of yeast, we will add 2 tablespoons of vegetable cooking oil. You can use any vegetable cooking oil that you like or you normally use. And then you will combine all these ingredients together. Once they are well combined, you will let them sit for about 3 to 4 minutes. This will allow the yeast to activate. We will come back to our initial bowl, the bowl that had wheat flour and milk, and pour our sugar. On top of that sugar, we will come in with our warm coconut milk. The warm coconut milk is supposed to help the sugar melt because you don't want to eat your mandazi and then you feel some particles in them. So the warm coconut milk helps the sugar to melt, and then after the sugar is completely melted into the coconut milk, we will now spread it across or rather to the rest of the wheat flour as we add the remaining coconut milk bit by bit. At this point, I transitioned to use my hands. Do not worry, my hands were clean. I always clean my hands before preparing any meal for my family. So I transitioned to using my hands in kneading this flour. So I will add approximately half of the mixture, the yeast mixture, and continue kneading with my hands. And in the process, I will keep on adding the rest of the mixture bit by bit. Remember that the ingredients are enough for the 4 cups of wheat flour. We will not add any extra water or any other extra liquid to help knead our flour. Whatever ingredients I showed you at the beginning of this video are enough to knead dough for our mahamri today. So do not worry about the size of the mixture or anything, because that's enough to make you a very nice, smooth and soft dough for your mahamri. If you're short like me, I'm not that tall, so kneading the dough in the balls was a bit uncomfortable for me because I was kind of struggling because of my height. So I decided to pour some vegetable cooking oil on the counter space. The counter space is clean. I had cleaned it before beginning the process. So I poured some vegetable oil on top of this counter space and transferred my dough onto that surface so that I continue kneading the dough. So if you are okay or comfortable in kneading it in your bowl or wherever you started from, that's fine. You can continue, but just make sure that you continue kneading that dough until it's soft and smooth. Once the dough is ready, you will transfer it back to the bowl that you were using to knead it, and let it rest for about 1 hour. In an hour's time, this dough should be at least 2 times the size right now, the way you can see it. So take note of the size, and once we are back, you will see the difference. It will be a lot. It will have increased in size. So you will cover it with a cling film. Uh, if you do not have a cling film, you can use a heavy kitchen towel. Make sure it's clean and cover it. Let it rest for about 1 hour. And in an hour's time, you will see a huge difference. Kindly just take note of that size, the way it is right now, and compare it to how it will be in the next 1 hour. Have you seen the difference? This is a huge difference. So it has doubled in size, if not more than doubled. So what we will now do, we will now remove it from the bowl and now spread it and cut in small sizes, just as I will do, but just have a look at it. It actually smells nice. You can feel the smell of yeast. You can feel some smell of coconut. So it really had a nice smell. At this point, I am now cutting my dough into smaller rounds. I will now mold those small dough into more of a round or a ball-like shape, and after making them in that format, I will let them rest for another 30 minutes. Wow, this is now 30 minutes later, after the small rounds, or rather the small balls, have rested. So I will now start spreading my duff and cut them into the shapes that I want. For this particular video, or rather for this particular time that I was preparing this Mahamris, it was a bit late. I didn't have a lot of time to do so many nice shapes, the stars, the rounds, the circles and everything. So for this particular video, I did the triangle ones. They were not of the same size. Some were big, some were small. I did all kinds of sizes, but the shapes were the triangular one. So for this video I did the triangle one. You can do different shapes. You can use a cup and do circular if you don't have that thing that is used to cut the shapes. If you have the things that can be used to cut the various shapes, that's nice, and you can try them out. So make sure that the duff is not the spread duff is not too thick, because they will not be well cooked on the inside if it's too thick. And also make sure it's not too thin. You want your mahamri to have some, how do I call it, let me just call it meat, some meat inside there. So don't make it too thick, but also do not make it too thin. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So I will cut all the I'll spread all the balls and then cut them into the shapes. And after I'm done cutting all the shapes, I will let again those shapes stay again or sit for about 10 minutes. So after I've cut the shapes, let them sit for about 10 minutes, and then now we will start deep frying our mahamris. After we are done cutting those shapes, remember to let them sit for about 15 minutes on the upper end. So do not deep fry them immediately. Let them sit for about 15 minutes max. And then we will now heat our vegetable cooking oil. Make sure it's hot but not super hot, because they will not cook on the inside. And then we will begin we will begin deep frying our mahamris. So this is the final stage. And after you've put your mahamris into the hot oil, do not let them cook on one end. Turn them before they cook on the first side, because if you do not turn them, because of the yeast, they will crack. Have you seen mandazis that are cracked? I bet you've seen. So those mandazis that have cracked is because, I'm not sure it's cracking or busting, but I'm sure you've seen the thing that I'm trying to say. So if you let them sit on one side first before turning, then it will burst. They will burst. But if you put them immediately in the oil, give them like 2 seconds and then turn them. Then after you've turned them, let them cook on one side. Once that side is now cooked, you can now turn them back and cook on the first side that landed into the hot oil first. In that way, none of them will burst, and they will be so nice. They will be well cooked, and the texture on the outside will be really good. Just have a look at the way they are. They were so nice on the outside. They looked good on the outside, and on the inside, eish, they were great. They were so nice. So this is the recipe. Go out and try it, and then as usual, don't forget to give me your feedback. Let me just cut one of them like this one. See the way it's nice on the outside, and then on the inside it's so white, almost the same as bread, white bread, and it's well cooked on the inside. It's fluffy and soft. Bye bye.